And and plants colonized by different microorganisms like bacteria or fungi that exist in the soil, and how these microorganisms can protect the plants from stresses like abiotic stresses, temperature, metals in the soil, etc. So we also work with the wheat here. We're also in collaboration with other colleagues in Lisbon. We also work with the grapevine, and colonized by different microorganisms in the soil. And what we do here is the study of the gene expression. We use the real time that Diogo is now using to study specific genes in response to some stress. Also, we analyze the whole transcriptome of the plants by bioinformatic analysis. We have done that for wheat. We are doing it now for olive, the formation of or the induction of the adventitious roots in olive. So we are working on that now. We also have done the microRNAs in grapevine. So yeah, that's the work that we are now doing here. We have Diogo now, which is a master student in collaboration with Elia. She's the lab supervisor, but she's now in classes. So yes, that's. And we also have another colleague that she also is in a conference now that she works with proteins, plant proteins. She extracts the proteins. She has worked with pea, also from an European project with pea. Now also with olive, extracting the proteins from olive and analyzing the differences between samples. So that's what we are doing here now.
Yeah, some of the species, they are species sometimes not very easy to work with because it's woody species with some problems of different, for instance, for the extraction of proteins, for the process of RNA, DNA extraction. Many times we have to optimize some methodologies because the woody species are difficult to work with. So that's what. Mainly, we are working here with plant species that exist we work. Our research center that is called MED has the main goal of working with some species from the Mediterranean region. So here the works that we develop here are mainly in these species. Grapevine, olive, now more recent also almond that we are increasing, the cereals,
also the biotechnology lab,
the walnut, so
the potato.
Yeah. More species, they are highly interested in species from the Mediterranean. So there are also colleagues working in the water use with Alqueva. I don't know if you already heard the big barragem, the biggest lake in Europe.
How we call this big
Water
reservoir of water dam?
It's the biggest lake from what?
It's the biggest artificial lake in Europe.
In Europe, so it's near here. If you go to Monsaraz, the water that you see there belong to Alqueva. Alqueva made big changes in the environment and in the cultures of Alentejo, because it has some impact in the climate. The temperature is and the moisture also, and it turned available water that changed. You cannot Alentejo 20 years ago. It has nothing to do with Alentejo now because you have the wheat, the cereals, and now with the water that it was possible to have through the Alqueva irrigation. You have olive programs, almonds. So this has to do with this was possible with the availability of water that Alqueva bring us. So, and the work with in MED, it has to do with the problems from the Mediterranean, and we try to everybody is more or less working in these subjects. Some we have in that corridor we have the colleagues that work with the mechanization, also in Olive. So in Olive there are many people following different approaches, trying to solve several problems. Olive oil. Yeah, we have
the properties of different olive oils. Now we have this equipment which is a sequencer, but also allows to do genotyping. So it's, for example, using microsatellites. So we can now distinguish different genotypes from, for example, what was Elia telling me.
Walnuts,
yes.
Walnut, because there are some problems with identification. There are some varieties that are quite similar, especially when they are in nurseries. Nursery. Sometimes you have to test, or these tools allowed to easily discriminate different varieties. In some cases, the plants are quite similar, and so when they are small, it's more difficult. So this work with the microsatellites, it's a project that that our colleague is involved with. It has to do with that, with the discrimination of different walnut varieties. Okay. Now, if you have some doubt, or you can ask something. You work with molecular biology? No.
Me, I work in plant biotechnology.
Yeah. Here we have the usual equipment, the thermocycler, the centrifuges, the electrophoresis tanks. So this is the normal for plant, or it's not necessarily for plant. It's a normal biotechnology, molecular biology. Yeah. We also have some work with Hypericum perfuratum. It's a colleague that worked with that. Is no longer here. Hypericum perfuratum is a medicinal plant. We work with molecular markers.